Hi guys, good morning. Hey Chase, how are you? Oh, you always make me laugh. I love a good sarcastic sense of humor. We were raised on that in the 80s. We were raised on sarcasm. Hi, Steven. Who else is here? Hey, Eileen. Hey, Jana. Good morning. Irma. Me and Irma spent the day together yesterday. We had a date. Hi, Tea Priestess. Good morning. Welcome. Okay, let's get going because I got a lot to say. We're going to start out today by going into the text, and then I'm going to share screenshots like I've done in the past from my friend who must stay anonymous for a certain, I guess, code that he follows, code of honor. But he is super, extremely highly initiated in Kabbalah, passed down from generation to generation, probably going back 2,000 years or not more. So he has received from the highest place, and he has preserved it and honored it, treasured it, and kept it. And he's sharp. He's so smart. He can bring it up. It's on the tip of his tongue. It lives at the edge of his brain, and he can share it like it's part of him, like it's second nature to him. And I'm fortunate enough to have come into his acquaintance and developed a relationship with him where he feels he can trust me with these secrets. And I asked him, I went through the screenshots with him yesterday, and he gave me his blessing and permission. He made me take some out, but he gave me his blessing and permission to share the ones that I'm going to share with you today. And I'm really excited to do so. So try to stay till the end because I'm going to go through the screenshots at the end. We have to build up the story first. I have to give you some background. And I just want to preface, I want to intro this with some of my own thoughts. And I want to thank you, this friend out there, if you're listening. Tzadikata, mamash. Thank you for coming into my life and teaching me the highest secrets. It's better than gold. I understand now that we're not going to need food when we get to Olam Haba, because this is our food, this is our sustenance. I would skip a meal. I would turn away like chocolate cake and pizza for the secrets of Torah. Okay, so let's start out. Okay, by talking about ego death. Ego death. After ego death, I mean, this has been the Great Awakening. We've found out that the government is out to get us, and that the medical system is poison, and the educational system is out to make you stupid. This is a guru, his whole litany, and each one has been like hard. The dominant emotions of an ego death, initially you feel absolute horror. You're like, it's a shock to the system. You get like viscerally, you frightened. For me at least, when I've heard the truth, we're the world is run by a bunch of elite megalomaniacs. Yes, it is. But the first time you heard it, It's actually terrifying and horrifying. And you go through the 5 stages of grief, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, until you get to acceptance. And after acceptance, you get to this magical state of relief. Because when you assimilate the information from this awakening, from this ego death means it was like a part of you, it was your identity. Like it was a part of it, entrenched in your belief system. And all of a sudden you find out it was a lie. It's like, who am I? What world is this? But then the final feeling is the sweet sensation of relief. You're like, oh, that actually makes perfect sense that the world is run by a bunch of elite maniacs, because the world never felt right. It never felt good. Just look at paperwork, look at the banking system, and look at all this stuff that they made us do as part of the matrix. Trauma bonded to the matrix. If I get a letter from the IRS, my heart is like thumping. So it is a sweet relief. And now we're going to talk about another one. And my sister Miriam, where are you, Miriam? She tried to tell me this in different words for a long time, that the Torah never felt right. And I was like, no, don't touch my Torah. Don't touch Torah. And because we're Orthodox Jews. And it is another derangement syndrome. Along with the Kabbalah derangement syndrome, Jesus derangement syndrome, Q derangement syndrome, Trump derangement syndrome, there is another one that right, Irma, the world never felt free. There is another derangement syndrome, because we were prisoners. The derangement syndrome I'm referring to is the Torah can't change, derangement syndrome. And I've seen the fear when I skirt around the topic. I test the water sometimes with people, and and this is a no fly zone. You can't go here with people with Orthodox Jews. I'm like, yeah, the Torah we have, it's like, no, don't say it. The word of Torah can change, and I see the look of terror in their eyes. So I back off slowly. Because it's like, what's the word? It's like part of the indoctrination. Torah can't change. Torah can't change. Don't say Jesus. I think like I was invited to, on Shabbos, I was invited to my son's in-laws for lunch. And I'm like, what can I say at the table? And I have to keep it so parav, so neutral. Like none of the things I really want to say can I say. Because it'll throw a bomb on the table. It'll like everything will go quiet. And my son will be mortified. So I've really learned to behave. That's another skill I've developed, how to behave in public. So that's a big deal, to start to incorporate this new understanding, this new paradox of Torah, that the Torah doesn't change, but it does change. Okay, it's a paradox. And you have to hold it without flinching. We all know, everybody knows, that the Torah that we're holding is a default Torah. The first set of luchos that we got, the Moshe went up and learned 40 days and came back down, and he dropped it because we blew it. We were bowing down to an idol, and we forfeited the higher Torah. We forfeited the higher Torah, the mother's Torah, and we were stuck with another Torah. And what Torah is this? What is the second Torah that we got? And we're going to explore that together today. I am by no means an expert in this. I'm presenting information that was given to me and that I dug around in Tikkunei Zohar and kind of found on my own. But I am by no means an expert. I am new to all of this myself. So we will navigate this together. And I just want to make a big disclaimer for any Orthodox Jews out there that I'm not saying not to practice the Torah. I'm not saying to throw away Shabbos. I'm not saying to stop doing anything. That all the doing that we do as part of Orthodox Judaism. over and over and over in Tikkunei Zohar. It says that the reunion, Geula, which is the reunion of the Kutche Brichu and the Shchinte, the supernal father and mother, is dependent upon us down here in Asiya, the Pu'ula, the Po'al, the action, the doing of the mitzvahs. And over it says, Tefillin, Tzitzis, Shabbos, Bris Milah, Shabbos and Yantif. Like, these are the channels and mechanisms through which we create union. And Geula rides on us. We are the traction for Geula. On what we do down here. And Irma said it brilliantly to me in the car ride yesterday. She said, we don't discard this Torah that we're holding, the secondary Torah that we received. We elevate it. We don't discard it. We learn it. We connect it to the higher Torah through learning Zohar and, tying them together, tying the verses in Torah to the higher understandings. And in doing so, we morph and change this Torah of Samach Mem. It's the Torah of Samach Mem. That's the bomb I'm dropping. Who gave us this Torah? The second set of Luchos was the foolish son. Let's call him that. And it's intermingled. It's intermingled, and we have to sort it out. Okay, we'll get into all of that. I just want to say one more thing. How I understand it is that, so we got this second set of luchos, and then pretty sure it was 1,000 years later, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai exiled himself into a cave and went through complete sensory deprivation, didn't eat, buried himself in sand every day, him and his son. 13 hellish years inside a cave. All to do one thing, to accomplish one goal. And this was the soul of Moshe Rabbeinu that came back inside the body of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai to bring back that first set of luchos, the information from that first set of luchos. So we could hold it in our hands, so we could connect it to this other Torah and elevate it. I always like to say he clawed it back from heaven so we could find our way out of this prison run by the Samach Mem. He was given the keys to this realm. Not for much longer. Geula is him losing control, and that's why they're fighting it. They're kicking and screaming. They don't want to relinquish control. But us sitting here today learning these secrets, why am I doing this? Why am I sitting here risking my reputation, risking looking like a complete heretic? Because I know this is what truth is, their kryptonite. And truth is what moves the wheels of the Geula, the traction. Truth is the traction. So we know in the Torah, doesn't say Shekhinah, not a once. Where's Betty? Hi, Betty June. It doesn't say Shekhinah, not even one time. And then in the Zohar, she comes out a little. She's more revealed, but still veiled. But then you get to Tikkunei Zohar. And every single paragraph and every other sentence is Dashachinta. And she comes out in her full glory, who she is, all her code words that we can now go back to Torah and decode Torah and who is Shekhinah. Because we leave exile. Tanya says it straight up. The Bala Tanya. Repentance is the Ima Ilah. And we leave exile with mercy through the Ima Ila'ah. So we have to remember her and we have to find her. And the only way to do that is through Zohar, and even more so, Tikkunei HaZohar. Okay, you guys got it? The mama. We've been waiting for the mama. Because her Torah, the mother's Torah, is the higher Torah. Is this initial Torah, the initial luchos that were shattered. And it's the way back to heaven. It's the treasure map. It's the tree of life. She's the tree of life, which gives us the structure of it orients us. It reorients us. It reorients us to the higher worlds. Without it, we're lost. We don't know where we are. We don't know who we are. We don't know whose we are. Okay. Let us go inside and start our journey. Okay. Let's start out. This is the Arizal, who nobody debates him. He's like the authority. Like if you say Arizal, every Jew says okay. No one's gonna debate the authority of the Ari. What does the Ari say? This is Apples from the Orchard, and this is the commentary by Moshe I always forget his last name. Wazowski, something like that. Okay, we're going to start right here. The Torah, as we read, know, and experience. You guys paying attention? This is big, big, big. How do I make this bigger? Yeah, there we go. Where were we? The Torah, as we read, know, and experience, is merely a translation. Okay, what the Torah you read in shul every week is merely a translation of the pristine, holy, spiritual Torah known in heaven. They're learning a different, Jews out there, they're learning a different Torah in Shamayim, in the heavenly yeshivos, okay? So Torah does change. Up there, the Torah discusses the dynamics and topology of holiness and holy realms. The Torah up there speaks nothing of sin, speaks nothing of non-kosher animals, speaks nothing of murder. I'm going to add here, it speaks nothing of sacrifices, like blood sacrifices, speaks nothing of anything with blood, okay? And the like. It is only when the Torah descends earthbound, earthward, that the Torah starts to morph into these things. More precisely, the Torah is the same, paradigm. It both up here and here, but up there, the words that we identify as referring to all these mundane activities and concepts are naturally read and interpreted to refer to sublime spiritual concepts. Not physical, they change. Only in the context of this world do the words of Torah take on their familiar and mundane meanings. And as we ascend, and as this earth passes away like a garment, and the heavens pass away like a vapor, the Torah elevates out of this mundane status, and we will start to follow a Torah, a different type of Torah, a more sublime type of Torah, with the Sod understanding. One more thing. Our sages have taught that the imperfect version of supernal wisdom is Torah. What? That is a bomb drop right there. This is also from the Ari. Imperfect version of supernal wisdom. It's calling Torah imperfect right there. The sages, Rabbi Chanina Bar Yitzchak, there are 3 unripe fruit. The unripe fruit of death is sleep. The unripe fruit of prophecy is a dream. The unripe fruit of the world to come is Shabbos. Rabbi Avin added two more. The unripe fruit, the klipa of the supernal light, is the orb of the sun. Okay, so it's like gives you like what's the cheap knockoff version of the real thing. That's all those things are telling you. And this last one is the banger, is the bomb drop. Okay, the unripe fruit of supernal wisdom is Torah. What is that telling you? The Torah we hold is almost like, I don't want to say cheap knockoff version, but it's not the higher version. Let's just say that. This is an important part too. The idiom of unripe fruit obviously means imperfect version and not something that will morph into something higher, meaning the Torah we have here is going to disappear. It's not going to become something better. It's going to fall away. Verstehst? We got it so far? Let's go to our next thing. I want to tell you about the story. We're going to start getting into Acher, okay? First, let's start with what is the story of Acher? I'll go to Sefaria. The four who entered Pardes Arba'a nichnasu lePardes Echad heitzitz v'ames Echad heitzitz v'nifka Echad heitzitz v'kitzitz v'netios Echad nichnas b'shalom v'yatza b'shalom. What does this mean in English? Four entered the garden. Pardes is like all the levels of Torah, Pshat, Remez, Drash, and so they entered into all the levels of Torah, right? One gazed and was injured at all the levels of Torah. One gazed and died. One gazed and cut saplings, became a heretic, that means. And one entered in peace and left in peace. I'm going to skip this Hebrew, go right to the English. The sages taught four entered Pardes, which is an example, the loftiest secrets of Torah. Okay, it's not that Yura has taught this. It's not that they went somewhere. It's that they entered into the deepest secrets of Torah. It's not that they traveled on a spaceship somewhere. Ben Azai, Ben Zoma, Acher, and Rabbi Akiva. Here's where we're getting to the heart of it. Rabbi Akiva, the senior among them, said to them, when upon your arrival to the upper worlds, when you reach the pure marble stones, okay, pure, remember these words, pure marble stones do not say water, water, although they appear to be water. And remember this, there's an axiom in Zohar that says, Ein mayim ella, ein mayim leis oraisa. Anytime you see water, it's talking about Torah, okay? So that's always, mayim is always code for Torah. Because it said, he who speaks falsehood shall not be established before my eyes. So he's trying to tell them, when you see different types of Torah, don't make a distinction between them. He's trying to warn them about this very paradox that we're talking today. That even though we understand that the Torah that we're holding is a Torah given, a secondary default Torah given by the Samach Mem at Har Sinai, because Samael and Sinai are the same in Gematria, still, it's the same Torah. It's a different Torah and the same Torah. Wrap your head around that so you don't lose your mind, so you don't die. You know, this is the warning given. Okay. And they say that Acher became a heretic. This is what we're going to focus on today. And the only one who came out safely was Rabbi Akiva. And what was the next thing? Tikkunei Zohar. We're going to go inside. I think it's Tikkun 40. Rabbi Elazar, who's the son of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, who went in the cave with him. Amar Rabbi Elazar Abba, he said, Father, one day we were in the study hall and my companions asked, what is this that Rabbi Akiva said to his disciples? When you come to these pure marble stones, Where's the Hebrew? Kishatagi'u l'avnei shayish tahor, al tamru mayim mayim. Don't say water, water, lest you endanger yourselves. Or even worse, he who speaks lies shall not be established before my eyes. It's as if you're lying if you say water, water, two different Torahs. This is repetition here. I'm going to drop down. Meanwhile, the elder of elders, the Sabo de Sabin, Atika de Atikin, the ancient of all ancients, like the big boss man, came down himself and is like, what are you guys engaged in? They said to him, surely we are engaged in that matter which Rabbi Akiva said to his disciples, this mysterious warning that Rabbi Akiva gave his disciples, when you reach the pure marble stones, do not say, water, water. Don't do it. He said to them, surely a supernal secret is here. Amar lon vadai, and I have found a pattern in Tikkunei Zohar, that when you see vadai, they're trying to tell you a secret of the Shekhinah. 9 times out of 10. Behold, it has been supernal. Hey, Irma, you calling me?
Hey, you froze.
Oh, shoot. How long ago did I freeze?
There's no, I don't even get a picture.
I hear my phone ringing. Okay, does that mean I'm unfrozen? Irma, can you hear me again? She's back. What did you hear last? Yay! How long was I gone? Okay, let's start here. I'll just pick a spot. The pure marble stones are Yud and Yud, which is the Aleph, which is a Yud at the top of the Aleph, a Yud at the bottom of the Aleph, and a slanted line in between. And the Tikkunei HaZohar is telling us that the slanted line in between the lower wisdom, connecting the lower wisdom to the upper wisdom, is the tree of life itself. We good, guys? Okay. Irma, thanks for calling me and telling me. Okay. 5 minutes I was gone? Anyway, let's just continue. This is the main point, that how you get your lower wisdom in this lowest place to the highest wisdom in the highest place is through the Vav in between, which is the tree of life. Okay, which is beneath Keter Elyon, and they correspond to the two eyes from which two tears descend into the great sea. It's talking about the destruction of the two Beis Hamikdash. That's what I read in the Ashlag commentary. And why did these two tears descend? Because the Torah from these two tablets that Moshe brought down to Israel broke, right? Because we were worshiping the golden calf and we were not worthy, so they broke and fell. And this caused the destruction of the first and second Beis Hamikdash. And why did they fall? Why did the Luchos fall out of Moshe's hand? Because the tree of life, the higher knowledge, flew away, because the Jews were no longer worthy of the higher knowledge because they were worshiping an idol. And this Vav, the tree of life, flew away from them. The only other thing I wanted to add was there's a hint here that in the letter Aleph, Sof Ma'aseh b'machshava techila, that the end of doing is embedded in the first thought, and female is called thought, and female is the tree of life. So she's all over this commentary here. And Moshe Rabbeinu gave them another set, the secondary set of luchos from the side of the tree, the Eitz Hada'as Tovara. Okay, everything got jumbled up. Okay, we no longer had purely good or purely evil. Everything got intermingled, which is why we're trying to separate it back out. Geula will be when we separate these forces out, and we cling only to the tree of life. And in this secondary Torah is given the forbidden and the permitted. It's heter and isser. It's life and death. It's pure and impure. Okay, we're stuck racking our brains trying to navigate this world and separate out permitted and not permitted. We spend our days doing this instead of learning from the tree of life, which is much more sublime. And because of this, Rabbi Akiva said to his disciples, when you come to the pure marble stones, do not say water, water. Do not exchange pure marble stones for the other ones, okay? Don't say that this secondary Torah that we have right now is the same thing as the upper Torah. Because these stones of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil are in separation. They cause separation, but the pure marble stones are in unification with no separation at all. Okay, you got to be able to hold this. It is the same Torah, but one Torah is a Torah of separation, of duality, and the other Torah is a Torah of unity, of Atzilus, the highest place. And if you should say, behold, the tree of life has departed from them, and they have fallen, and there is separation among them, as Rabbi Akiva said, he's saying that that's an illusion. Don't say this, even though it appears this way. It appears that we're holding on to separation, and it appears that everything is dualistic. If you actually believe that, you're believing a lie. It's an illusion. And then the Sabbath flies away. Okay, let's go to our next. That's just setting up the stage for the best part of today. Let me check on you guys. Huh. Yeah, Samach, I'm trying to distract me. Nope, he's not going to win today. No. Okay. Am I good now? Can you guys hear me now? Okay, let's just continue. Yes. Okay, let's get into the screenshots from my friend who shall remain nameless. Okay, thanks, guys. Oh my God, this is acting weird. Okay. Screenshot number 1. We have 29 screenshots to go through. Okay. So we're kind of picking up in the middle of a conversation here. He says to me, he's the black and I'm the green. He says to me, what do you think? Which Torah is the Torah that was given at Har Sinai? Which was a second pair of tablets that we just established from the Ari and from Tikkunei HaZohar. And we know, basic Bible 101, it was a second pair. According to what you learn, is that the Torah of Beriah, which is Beriah is a higher world. We're in the lowest world. We're in the world of Asiya. And then there's the world of the heavens, which is Yetzirah. And then even higher than that is the world of the mother, which is the world of Beriah. He's like, what do you think you're learning? What Torah is now active in the Orthodox world? So I asked him to explain more. Yes, but my question is, according to your understanding, the Torah that is active, is that the Torah of Moshe? Or is that the Torah of Beriah? He's making a distinction here between the Torah Moshe gave us and a different Torah, the Torah of Beriah. So I said, no, it's not. At least I knew that. It's not the same Torah. So he said, okay, which one is that? So I said, we are learning the Torah of the foolish son. Samach Mem. So then he said, but if that's not the Torah of Beriah, which one is it? So I said, I guess, is it Torah of Yetzirah? No, we're learning the Torah, the lowest possible Torah, the Torah of Asiya, of this lowest world, very low level. So he told me it's good to give you some foundation on that matter. So then he tells me the Torah that Abraham practiced was the Torah of Beriah. And the patriarchs as well, all of them. That was the original Torah for this eon. We were supposed to get that Torah, and it was much more superior than we have. The Torah of Moshe, which was the second pair after the broken tablets, we got that second pair, was the inferior image of that higher Torah of Beriah. So the archetypal Torah, the superior Torah, was the Torah of Beriah, and then the Torah of Moshe was an inferior image of that Torah, like the klipothic version of it. So he said, imagine we have some similarities to the higher Torah as an archetype, but as well, there are a lot of differences from this Torah to the higher Torah. Okay. Then he showed me an example. This is when Abraham prepared for the angels to give to the guests meat and milk together. How is it possible he prepared them together when that's like the basic rules of kashrus, that you're not supposed to do that? The Torah of Moshe prohibits cooking meat and milk together. He said this is just one small example many complicated dietary laws were not inside the Torah of Berea. He said basically, the patriarchs were observing, okay, before Har Sinai even happened, the Avos were keeping the Torah of Berea, which is the mother's Torah. Then on Mount Sinai, we had a chance. Ooh, I just understood this. We had our chance on Har Sinai to go higher than the Torah of Berea and get the Torah of Atzilus, the Torah of total unity from the Holy Goddess and Mashiach. But Israel sinned, and the second pair was given, and we went from an opportunity to receive the Torah of Atzilus to receiving the lowest possible Torah, the highest possible Torah, to actually receiving the Torah of Asiya, which was given from the backside, right? Acher here means Moshe only saw the backside of Hashem, which is hinting that we received the Torah from the Sitra Achra. We are now in one of the lowest levels of Asiya. We're not even in a high level of Asiya, but we're in the lowest possible level of Asiya. I'm very close to the Klipa levels. Okay, so then I asked him, just check on you guys, we're okay, Baruch Hashem. Okay, let's go back. Oh, why it's not getting bigger. Okay. So I asked my friend, so we will take a massive quantum leap from here to Atzilus? Like we're going to go, like how are we going to get Torah of Atzilus all the way from down here? So he answered me, the role of the Mashiachim in every generation has several Mashiachim, are to gradually abolish this Torah. Okay, these are big words I'm saying. Gradually deconstruct and destroy this Torah and bring it into the higher construct Torah. And finally, we will have the Torah of Atzilus. Okay, so every generation did a little more of this work, so that when the time comes, we're going to be ready for the Torah of Atzilus, which is where we're standing right now. We've heard enough. Even me speaking this now is a sign that we're ready for the Torah of Atzilus. Even that you're not passing out and dying or losing your mind like Ben Zoma or the other ones that didn't make it. Even that you can withstand me saying this to you now and agree with me, and it makes sense to you and you feel relief hearing it, is a sign and signal that we're ready for the Torah of Atzilus. So I said to him, yeah, we're gradually climbing up to the higher Torahs. Yes, this is why this is a huge concept we're about to get into. So pay attention. This is why the reincarnations of Mashiach ben Yosef is the archetype of the person who did the most work in exposing that the Torah we hold is the Torah of the Samach Mem. So in the reincarnations of Mashiach ben Yosef, what do we see? We see all kinds of crazy stuff. All kinds of crazy stuff that these different Mashiach ben Yosefs did over the generations. And I'm talking Shabtai Tzvi. I'm talking Yeshu. I'm talking Acher. I'm talking the people who are slapped with the label, who have the biggest derangement syndromes around themselves, around their reputation, because the other side was terrified of what they were doing. They came to disrupt the status quo. See, Rabbi Akiva, what did it say about him? He went in peace and he left in peace. What does that really mean? He did not disrupt the status quo. He kept in line. He didn't say one word about the truth of the higher Torah. He kept on learning Gemara, and he kept on learning the Torah of Heter and Isser, Tameh and Tahor, he kept on with the status quo. So this is why Mashiach ben Yosef, it appears to us from our perspective in Asiya that they were committing antinomian acts, but it was antinomian acts only towards this inferior Torah. So each incarnation was bringing something new gradually. It couldn't be done all at once. Okay, so this is probably the biggest thing to take away is that Yeshu, right? He came to disrupt karbanos, the sacrifices of the temple, because he understood that they were going to Samachman. Most of them, and when they were already had been corrupted in the temple. So when he, flipped the tables, I do not know my New Testament, but I know from hearing other people say that he went crazy about sacrifices. So that was his antinomian contribution to getting rid of this lowest Torah, exposing it, not getting rid of it really, but exposing it for what it is. So many people have an issue with the blood sacrifice. It doesn't really make sense that the highest Hashem, Hashem doesn't require blood sacrifices. Who does? Samach Mem. Okay. Okay, so I asked him if Moshe Rabbeinu knew the higher Torah. He did. He answered me, he knew the entire Torah, all the levels of Torah. But what he revealed at Har Sinai is only the level of Zeir Anpin and Malchus. The highest levels of Torah he did reveal, but only to the 70 elders of the Sanhedrin and to some Kohanim. And these were the levels that were passed down orally from father to son, oral transmission in secrecy. The world was not ready to hear this. And then I said, and these are the levels Rabbi Shimon brought inside of Zohar. He said, true, Kabbalah does reveal the highest levels. This is what Moshe Rabbeinu gave to the 70 elders orally. But Moshe Rabbeinu, as an incarnation of Mashiach ben Yosef, Moshe Rabbeinu himself, this is a big statement, Moshe Rabbeinu himself fell into the archetype of Mashiach ben Yosef. He had all the levels, but to Israel, he only revealed part of the throne of God. But to the Sanhedrin, he revealed everything as the oral tradition. The story of Gan Eden has many levels, but he told me the story that we have is what happened in the lower Gan Eden of Asiya, not Asia, but Asiya, the world we're in. And the story of Gan Eden is not from the higher level of Gan Eden of Berea. Okay, then I started asking him about this warning from Rabbi Akiva, don't say water, water, when you get to the pure marble stones. So he told me, first of all, the Aleph, the letter Aleph, has 2 Yuds and a Vav in the middle. So that exactly mirrors on one level, Zeir Anpin, the Vav that is right here, slanted Vav inside the Aleph. Zeir Anpin, who is between the upper and lower Shechina, that's one level of understanding. So the 2 Yuds are the upper and the lower Shechina, Bina and Malchus, upper and lower Chachma, he calls it, that are synonymous. On another level, marble is the Vav is Mashiach. And when it flew away, it says the Vav flew away from the 2 Yuds. It means that Mashiach descended into the Klipot to do these antinomian acts to try to break up this Torah of Samach Mem, to elevate the lower Yud to the upper Yud. The Mashiach is the hero of the galaxy. The Vav flew away from the two Yuds to redeem the sparks, to actually reconnect the lower wisdom to the upper wisdom. On another level, it can represent the Torah of Mashiach. The first set of luchos that we were given that were broken, and the Vav as well can represent the inferior Torah of Samael that needs to be violated. This Torah can only be violated by the Mashiach, the Mashiach ben Yosefs. Okay, this is like why Shabtai Tzvi did what he did. He was trying to violate that Torah in order to bring down the supernal Torah. And this is another disclaimer. Do not try this at home. If you're not a Mashiach ben Yosef, you have no business violating the Torah. Oh, this is interesting. The two Yuds will be united when the Vav flew away, which is this Mashiach violating it. Mashiach descending into the Klipot. He's kind of like sacrificing himself by going down into the Klipot in order to reunite the lower and upper Yuds, the lower with the upper wisdom. So it's kind of like a kamikaze mission. Yeah. He's sacrificing his reputation. I mean, these are the most character assassinated people in all of Judaism, because nobody understood until now what they were doing. You have to look at it completely upside down. Vayetzer, this word Vayetzer, has many levels. The basic level is that the double Yud represents good and evil inclination. That was the basic one. Or the two Yuds could represent the holy domain and the Klipot. But now he's going to give the most esoteric level. That Vayetzer is 316, is Yeshu, is Mashiach. And Yeshu was, of course, an archetype of this Mashiach ben Yosef, and this is, of course, why he is burning in a boiling pot of excrement. Because no one understands what he was trying to accomplish. He was trying to show us that the Torah we hold is the Torah of Samach Mem. But he was only in a generation that was taking little stabs at it. So no one knew what he was doing because nobody knew this higher truth. Now there's another level. Rabbi Akiva reached the pure marble. Okay, this is mind-blowing. Okay, everyone just take a minute. Take a minute. Rabbi Akiva reached the pure marble stones, but this is the chiddush here. This is the innovation. But Rabbi Akiva didn't cross them. But there was somebody else who went on to higher levels than him, who went higher than where Rabbi Akiva went to. He just went to the pure marble stones. He didn't go past them. And this is the biggest secret. This is the title of our class. The biggest secret of the whole story is that person who went higher than the pure marble stones and saw Keter, and saw the Torah of Atzilus, and saw the Shekhinah. He saw the Shekhinah Ashura in Keter. And that one is Elisha ben Avuya, Acher. And he was the one who was said about him that he went out as a heretic. But I have come to learn, and I'm going to tell you this with my face. Okay, I cannot get my face back on the screen. Okay. I have figured out that whoever the rabbis are calling heretic, whoever the government is calling conspiracy theorist, that's the person you should be paying attention to. That's the smartest person in the room. Whoever has a label slapped on them by the powers that be, the Erev Rav or whoever, that's the one you should be listening to for truth. My screen is getting weirder and weirder. Okay, there we go. Another thing why it is hinted that there is not a separation between the upper and lower yud is because there is a level where the two yuds represent the two waters, the upper and lower. And you have harakia between them. So the two waters are we know that the yud is a code for Shekhinah. Okay, the letter yud itself is code. So if you have an upper yud and a lower yud, it's upper Shekhinah and lower Shekhinah. But it says there's a rakia. This is another interpretation altogether. He said there's a harakia in between them, but the word harakia is in Gematria 385. So basically, the Shekhinah herself, which is the tree of life, which is the Shekhinah, is between the upper and lower Shekhinahs. So he's saying the main point there is that there is no separation in her. She goes up and down and all around on the tree like the queen can move anywhere on the chessboard. And he said this is another level of interpretation. These are huge secrets, you guys. This is pure gold. And he wanted me to show this one the biggest and the most. He said, now look at this. And this is someone, if only I could tell you his authority, if I was allowed to tell you who he was, you'd fall, you'd drop down. I am not allowed to tell you who he is. I myself cannot even believe who he is. So he says to me, now look at this. Even Shayish, pure marble, equals Shnei Eitzim Megan, the two trees of the garden. Okay? So he's saying, let me just explain this a little bit, that when Rabbi Akiva says, when you get to the two pure marble stones, that translates as when you get to the two trees, the tree of life and the tree of knowledge. Don't call them two different things. And now he's gonna, because basically one is the klipathic version of the other. They're not two different things. It's just a klipathic version, one to the other. Like we said that in the beginning of the class, from Apples from the Orchard. And as Torah ascends, it changes. As it ascends worlds, it changes into something less. The shells fall off of it. So now he's going to give us something to seal this whole thing. We're going to seal the deal. He says, I'm going to give you another crazy thing, and this is what he always does to me. But after he tells me this crazy thing, he's going to leave it to me to connect everything. And I hate when he does this because I like to be spoon-fed the secrets. I don't like to figure it out myself. Even Shayish, it hurts my brain. Even Shayish equals 663. Okay, pure marble stones. This is how to think like a Kabbalist 101. When you're given gematria, you can then go back and do plug and play. This is it. If you want to play the game of gematria and understand how concepts are connected from within to each other, and it's plug and play, and be able to swap one word for another so you can have the deepest understanding of what the Torah is telling you, you have to play the game of gematria. Even Shayish is 663. So we have 2 marble stones, which is 663 times 2, which is 1326. 1326 in Gematria is Esther Spiros. Okay, so this is Gematria. You can't argue it. You can't debate it. You can't deconstruct it. It is truth in numbers. Numbers do not and cannot lie. Okay, they can't. The numbers are the numbers. You can't fudge these numbers. It's to the you have wiggle room of 1, but that's it. And this gematria didn't even need him kolel. So we have the 2 marble stones equaling the 10 sfirot, which is the tree of life. So this airtight proof that when Rabbi Akiva said, when you get to the pure marble stones, it is talking about the tree of life. And don't say water, water. Don't say it's different than the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. They're just different versions of the same thing. And then he said, this is the secret of the highest order. When he gives me like 50 exclamation points, I know it's big. I know he just gave me something really big. Okay. And then he was just showing it to me inside again. So then through that gematria, I like had that moment where I said, she is the tree of life, the Shekhinah. He said the 10 spheros, you can divide them. Again, a paradox. You can divide them, but they are also one. It's the same as the sod of the 2 trees in the garden, which was the gematria that we saw 2 screens ago. The Evan, oh gosh, Shnei at Eitzim is Evan Shayesh. They are 2 trees, but they function as one. One is the klipa to the other, and you need to go through the klipa, break it, like these Mashiach ben Yosefs did in every generation. They did these kamikaze missions. You have to break the klipa to get to the tree of life. You have to break the klipa of the tree of knowledge. It's all in connection to the marble stones and what Rabbi Akiva warned them. And it is all in the secret of the holy goddess. Okay, it's all talking about, he's warning about the Shekhinah. It's all her. It's all the tree of life. It's all water, water. Now he goes, look at this for Acher. So then we had a moment of telepathy because I asked, then how is Acher higher than Rabbi Akiva? So he answered me at the same moment. He goes, because he reached higher, he went past the marble stones. And this is the most concealed matter. I'll give you one example from Talmud. He said this, okay, he's like, I can only give you this because I gave you the other keys. He always stacks it perfectly for me. When he teaches me, he knows exactly how to lead me in and then bring it home. He's a masterful teacher. Okay, you guys ready? Oh, Lord, I'm sweating. Okay. This is the proof and seal for everything we've done. And when you learn Kabbalah, it's all about proof and seal. You have to take what you learned and go inside to the wording, to the peshat, to the literal, and prove the sod through the literal. Okay, that's the highest game you could play. That's your A game right there. You gave a sod, and then you go back to the peshat and you be like, look, it's written right here. Okay, so we have hold on. Let me just orient myself. Okay, a bas kol. A bas kol is always Shekhinah. A bat kol, because it's the daughter. What is the reason when you saw Elisha ben Avuyo, you did not stand before him? Okay, so there's a whole story told that Metatron was punished because he was sitting, and there's a whole thing that went back and forth. And then it's this dispute is settled that Achar didn't make a mistake. Then that Achar was not at fault, because we learned it out that Achar was the only one who got it right. Because the Bas Kol, the voice of the Shekhinah herself, came down and said, Shuvu banim shovavim. Do teshuva, you, what's shovavim? Like you, I don't know why I don't have this translation here. Okay, return, you wicked sons. Everyone is called wicked. I think that's what it means. Chutz me'acher. Okay, it's right here in the Gemara, in the Talmud. I used to think of it, we were taught that this meant that everyone is allowed to do teshuva except for Achar. What he did was so bad that teshuva he's not eligible for teshuva anymore. But when you turn it upside down and understand that he was performing an antinomian act by converting to Christianity and showing us that the Torah that we're holding is the Torah of Samach Mem. It was the highest possible thing he could do. So now we learn this phrase. All of you sons out there are wayward sons. Okay, you all need to do teshuva. Chutz me'acher. It's not that he's not eligible for teshuva, but he's the only one who does not have to do teshuva, because he went to the highest place. He went to the place of the Shekhinah, and he saw everything in Keter as unity. He beheld the Torah of Atzilus. And he couldn't come back to this world and keep the Torah of Samach Mem. He just couldn't do it. He couldn't hold the status quo the same way Rabbi Akiva could. And that was massive, what I just showed you. This means that only Acher is the only one, not among the rebellious children, keeping the Torah of Samach Mem. And the Bas Kol came down to protect him. He said, this is the highest arcanum, the most protected. So I asked him, he went beyond and saw Ashura and Keter. He went beyond Chachma, the Yud, and he went up to Keter. And then he gave a proof that Achar was in fact higher than Akiva. He reached the level of Mashiach, who entered the Klipot to redeem the sparks. And this is why he's called Acher, because he entered into the Sitra Achra, and he went all the way up to the highest place. He said, and now you understand the origin of antinomian behavior. And I said, you mean Achar started this trend of antinomian behavior? He said, I cannot say he started it, but he saw reality for what it was. And he became antinomian toward the inferior Torah. This is huge. Read this to yourselves again later. He saw the reality as it was, and he became antinomian. He became rebellious. He became perverse to the inferior Torah, like all the other archetypes of Mashiach ben Yosef, who came to this world to disrupt the status quo. So then I asked, isn't antinomian the wrong approach? Because I was still stuck in my old thinking. So then he answers me the story of, okay, Acher came down and got with prostitutes immediately. Why did he do that? What was he showing? Because he beheld supernal Lilith. He beheld the holy goddess. So him getting with prostitutes was his way, was a parable to show that he was trying to redeem the holy sparks from the prostitutes. And it was his job to descend in the klipot to redeem those sparks. So I said, but isn't it wrong? Like, aren't you misleading so many people by doing these seemingly perverse acts? No one's getting what you're doing. So that was my question. So he said to me, no, for the Mashiach, it's not antinomian, because that was his mission. His mission was gradually to break apart this Torah. So in hindsight, we could sit and have this class right now and understand and redeem and vindicate these poor souls, these poor Mashiach ben Yosefs who were so misunderstood and labeled heretic Ledori Doros for generations to come. You know, they haven't been able to shake those, they haven't been vindicated until now. This is why I begged this man. I said, can I please show your screenshots? And he said yes. I did have to take some of them out, but I think you're understanding what I'm saying, that the time is at hand, that we could understand we're grown up enough. We're not in kindergarten anymore. We're grown up to understand what we're holding and not freak out. Okay? Just like we can handle learning that the government is corrupt, and we can handle learning about the medical system, and we can handle learning all the lies of the matrix. This is perhaps the biggest one that we have to swallow. Okay. For the Mashiach, it's not the wrong approach. Why? Because the Mashiach is antinomian to the Torah of Samach Mem. He's not antinomian to God. He's actually trying to break the klipa so we can recover the fruit, the tree of life. I said to the world, yes, but it looks so horrible to the world. He said to me, yeah, that's the job of Mashiach ben Yosef, is to look horrible to the world. And then I said to him, that's why he had once told me that all these Mashiach ben Yosefs throughout all the generations need pidyon. Like Rabbi Ariel Aloro has a mission to redeem the reputation and soul of Yeshu. But he told me, really, all of these Mashiachim who did crazy things, they all need redemption because they were lishma. They were doing it for a higher reason that nobody at the time could possibly fathom. He said to me, go now. He's like, try it. Tell the world that the higher tzaddik was Acher than Rabbi Akiva. And they will label you the biggest heretic. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to say it because it's time that we knew the truth, that we redeemed the soul of Acher. He said, but grandmasters know the truth. He said, if somebody wants to know the highest truth, you need to be able to handle it, because the red pill, especially about Torah, is not always easy, especially if you've dedicated your life to learning this inferior Torah. That's what made me cry last week. I was like, all these people are going to be absolutely smitten, stricken, and devastated when they find out, when they have to swallow this red pill. It could kill some of them because they have their whole identity wrapped up in it. Okay, I think we have like one more to go. I was asking him, like, the whole problem with Acher is that he perceived two entities, and he said, oh, there's two powers in heaven. But he came to a wrong conclusion. that he saw Matat sitting, so he's like, oh, there's a bigger Yud Kei Vav Kei and a lesser Yud Kei Vav Kei, and that's the story told about him. So I'm like, well, what's the deal with that story? He said, I'll answer you with one very simple thing, and I'll show you the reconciliation. For uninitiated people, that looks like a problem to have two powers in heaven. But for the initiated, we know this already. We know that there's multiple powers in heaven. Okay. But for the layman, this is what I thought, and everybody in the religious world, there's one God, there's one Hashem. We didn't know. We didn't have the higher Torah teaching us the structure of the upper worlds. So it was one blanket Hashem. There was one Hashem. But for the someone initiated in the higher Torah, it's like not a big deal what he said. That there's a matat and there's a kutchabrichu. Like that's basic Zohar 101. So it's not a big deal. So that reconciles that whole dispute. Right? He's like, isn't it that Mashiach ben Yosef and the Shechina are two powers in heaven? Of course, we know that. The Kutchabrichu and his Shechina, yes, they are two powers in heaven. There's multiple powers in heaven. Okay, last one. So he's like, where? Show me where Achar was wrong in pointing this out. He was right. There was no mistake in what he saw. He was the only one who saw and understood. Okay. Whew. Okay, now let's go to, I have two more things. I know this class is going really long, but I think it's worth it. And these will tie everything up nicely. It'll be like another 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. I found something in Tikkunei Zohar about Acher. This is in the 34th Tikkun. And this was just a nice, cute little confirmation of everything we just said. Bezimnad is talak kotza min daled. At the time, I think it's talking about the time of redemption, when the coats, the little chup at the top of the daled, right here, flies away, is talak. From the word echad, right? What is, when you take this little edge off of the daled, it becomes a resh. What remains if from the word echad is acher. Okay? So how I understood this was when we start to view the world through the Torah of Atzilus, which is the Torah of the body, which is what Yir Ha'ari came to bring. And I understand that the Torah of Atzilus has to be about the body, because as Irma said yesterday, the body will teach the soul. The body holds the highest wisdom, because the body itself is the structure of Adam Elyon, the structure of Yira. That Yira is making video after video, trying to explain to us how our body is the actual body of Hashem. When he emanated himself as letters, it showed up like this. We're the lowest incarnation of it, but we're the most physical, we're the most actualized version of Hashem. So this thing is brilliant. What's encoded and embedded in your body, and why is brilliant, and why it will bring unity, is because we all have one. And we all can relate to the middle column being yellow. All of our secretions are the same. All women produce red, all men produce white. It's like, it's the devastating objectivity of our body. You cannot fight with it. You cannot, it's like gematria. It's incontrovertible. You cannot argue it. The body is the body is the body. 28 joints in each person to both hands, okay? Koach. You can't argue that. You have it, I have it. This is the Torah of Atzilus. All of Torah has to get tikkun back to the body. I hope you guys get what I'm saying, because I barely get it myself. But I'm trying to whatever I get, I'm trying desperately to give over to you so we can move this thing. 100th monkey effect. You know, it doesn't take much of us understanding this, that it'll cover the face of the earth like water covers the sea. And that's why Ba'ale Itmar, V'sod Acher al Tigal. And that's why it says you weren't really supposed to, back in the day, you're not supposed to reveal the secret of Acher. But guess what we did today? We revealed it, that he was the one labeled heretic, so he was the one who had the guts to go higher than Akiva and disrupt the status quo. He was the archetype of Mashiach ben Yosef, who did what's perceived by us to be antinomian acts. He got with prostitutes and he gave up Torah to show us that this was the Torah of Samach Mem. And he had to suffer for 2,000 years of having his character smeared, but we're redeeming him today. And that's the secret of Acher. One last thing. The Euro gives this proof in Likutei Yir'ah, in the Sefer 9, okay, where it says the secret of the Samach Mem of the second tablets in the Talmud Bavli Shabbos 104a. He elevates its status, as Chizda says, the letters Mem and Samach were in the tablets of Sinai were standing miraculously. I've heard you say this, that the letters Samach and Mem were hovering over the second set of luchos. And there is, right in the Talmud, it's telling you that the second set of luchos that we got, anyone who wants to argue that, it's written right there in the Gemara, that the second set of luchos were delivered to us by the Samach Mem, who's been in control of this realm ever since. And right now we have another shot at the Torah of Atzilus, and this time we're not blowing it. No, absolutely not. This is the final thing I want to show you. Tikkun 19, also from Likutei Yir'ah, the keys to the Mashiach. Talmud Bavli and Tractate Pesachim 110a. A king may breach. Ooh, I just understood this better also. A king, the Melech HaMashiach is the highest incarnation of the Mashiach, but he came to finish the job. He's the highest and final incarnation of all these different Mashiach ben Yosefs who came to break up the Torah, this Klipathic Torah, okay? He's the final one. He brings it home because he carries, no one else carries the Torah of Atzilus. To replace it, you can't just perform antinomian behavior and want to break up this lower Torah and not have something to switch it out with. You have to be holding the Torah of Atzilus, which Yira Hari is holding and teaching it to us every which way he can. A king may breach the fence of an individual. Where's my Torah of Mashiach? Hold on. Oh God, where's all my books? Here it is. Okay. A king may breach the fence of an individual in order to form a path for himself, and none may protest his action. So he has the ultimate license the Melech HaMashiach has the ultimate license to break apart the Torah of Samach Mem. For a king is above the law from the aspect of the Atika Kadisha, the highest place, Keter. And this is called lawless holiness. Because the laws of Heter and Isser are going to go away. The laws of Tameh and Tahor are going to go away. All the things that we break our head trying to figure out kashrus. Can you eat a raspberry because it has a bug in it? Like the stupidity, the micro-minutia, the level that it's gotten to has shown us, has revealed its inherent stupidity. Accordingly, he will abolish the Torah. How? By declaration of Toras Ha'olah. Toras. He's going to replace Torah, this lowest Torah of Asiyah, with the highest Torah of the Shekhinah, of the Torah of Keter, of the Panemius of Keter. Mizot Olah min HaMidbar. Who is this rising? Who is this Zot from Malchus, the Chachma of Malchus, who ascends up through Bina, through the Torah of Berea, which our forefathers kept? Even they didn't have Atzilus. Mashiach comes to bring Toras Ha'olah, the highest Torah, even higher than the Torah of Berea. The divine Toras is the Torah of our mother. And this is the beautiful phrase I want to show you and end with. It will all be the same Torah. We will look back and understand how it is water, water, and there is no separation. Bein mayim l'mayim. It's all oraita. The word oraita itself is or, the light. Taf aleph, oraita, the first three letters, the last two letters with the two yuds in between. So the lowest wisdom is the highest wisdom just wrapped inside of a klipa. And the klipa is it's time for this klipa to be broken apart for good and for all. And Yira says, the Torah will endure forever. Amen. Only its light will be transformed from darkness and death. Okay, the light of the Torah is going to be transformed from darkness and death into a Torah of life and light eternally, the Torah of Atzilus. Woo! That was a big class. I think we just brought it home, like really. And this is the Yira's book, The Torah of Mashiach, available, I'm not sure where, on Amazon, Book Baby. I'll link it below. Inside this book is like Yira explaining like every possible way that the different versions of Torah all connect back to the body and back. This Torah connects to the mother's Torah, connects to the Torah of Atzilus. He's tracking us back. We're not discarding this Torah. We are, like Irma said, we are simply elevating this Torah back to the highest possible level that we were supposed to have gotten 2,500 and something years ago. I think we did really, really good today, you guys. This is the first time I can say with I've never heard it said. I can say with almost 100% certainty that this is the first time these ideas have been discussed inside a public forum on YouTube with the intention, L'shem yichud kudshebrichu shechinte. And I know for sure in my heart and soul that speaking the highest truth and redeeming these Mashiachim ben Yosef, who are so misunderstood and so mislabeled, we're helping elevate them out of Gehenna, wherever they're trapped. This is our intention. May it be so, may it be today, and may it be with mercy that we see our Melech HaMashiach revealed to the world. Thank you for staying with me.